Hi guys, it's Cooking with Kat. As Jay and I is doing all these fun things to entertain us or keep us connected, it kind of speaks our culture. So I have my culture sweatshirt on. So today we are going to make banana bread. That's going to be known as the Corona Classic because everybody's making banana bread. But I think I have the best recipe ever. I found this recipe when I lived in Aspen, and a friend of mine's housekeeper gave it to her, made it one day, and had had it in their family forever. And I think we sat and ate the whole thing that night. But it's pretty simple. I do recommend using a food processor. It just blends everything up perfectly and smushes the bananas really good. So I'm going to try and whip this together. I have the oven preheated to 275. Now this recipe is a very slow cook. You cook it for an hour and a half and it gets really dark brown. And that's because of the baking soda. Baking soda makes things brown. So you need 3 very ripe, can you see that, how black that is? Bananas. I've got 2 in there right now. I just want to show you, like, they really need to be black. They could even be blacker than this. It could be where you don't see any yellow. Because then the inside is super ripe. And when it's ripe, it's sweet. Okay, so that's my bananas. I've got myself a little towel here to use. So we're going to blend those in the food processor, and then I'm going to add the sugar. Although I think I'll put half in now. So you got 1 cup of sugar. And I'll add the rest after this gets going. So get that in there. Blend that up. Rest of it in. Okay, so you might see me as I'm doing all these recipes on YouTube. I have this little recipe book. This is my collection of what I call lifers. You know, you get that recipe, you make it, and you say, oh my God, this is going to be in my life forever. So I have them all written in here. So if I ever need to go anywhere and I want to take my recipes, it's all in one nice little book. Anyway, kind of just makes my life easier. So then we are going to add 2 eggs. Now I usually crack my eggs into a bowl just to make sure. I'm going to do that as a matter of fact, because last thing you want is a big old shell in there, like I just did. So we got 2 eggs. Put those in. You know, it's really a lot easier if you're baking, especially, to get all your ingredients out and kind of pre-measured. Makes your life a lot easier as you're just, you know, going down your recipe and throwing things in. We're going to do 3 teaspoons of baking soda. Make sure it's fresh. Where'd my teaspoon go? Where did my teaspoon go? I just had it. That's not good. What do I do with it? Anyway, 3 teaspoons. So I'm going to just stick it in, make sure they're level. Now, you want a dash of salt. I don't use Morton's, that awful table salt stuff, so I always use a fine grain Himalayan salt if I have to put it in a recipe. We're going to do 1/4 cup of oil. Now I have some organic canola oil. You can use vegetable oil, you can use avocado oil, kind of whatever you have. I have to actually just bought a new one. Because if you have oil that you don't use a lot, you keep it in your pantry, be careful because oil gets rancid really fast. And you can tell by the smell of it. If it smells just a little bit funky, then it is funky. So we're gonna do 1/4 cup. And then we're gonna do 1.5 cups of flour. Now, I have the 1/2 cup here, and then I'm gonna need another cup. And that is gonna be right here. More in there. Do that very good. Okay, so when you put the flour in, you're gonna pour about 1/2 of the buttermilk in and then blend. I don't know why you have to do this, but for some reason every recipe says you gotta do that. You can't just dump it all in at once. Now, you probably could, but I'm gonna follow the rules. If anybody doesn't know me, I'm a rule follower. Okay, always check your recipe to make sure you don't forget anything important. Bananas, sugar, baking soda, dash of salt, 2 eggs, oil, flour, and buttermilk. So I'm gonna put the rest of the flour in. All of that in there, good. Oops, doesn't sound good. Came undone. So I've got my pan. I sprayed it with a little bit of oil. And then you take a piece of parchment paper, and you can use the bottom of the pan to measure the size. And you want to just kind of stick that in there. That's going to make this thing pop out really easy, really easy. So then, I don't have one of these things handy, a little spatula. Give it one more go. I'm gonna pour this guy in here. Now if you don't use a food processor very often, the blade in the middle, you don't want to take it out yet because the stuff will fall into the hole, but you got to hold it or the whole thing can go toppling over. So pour most of it in. Gosh, this sure doesn't feel like enough. It feels a little loosey-goosey, but. And then when you get it mostly in there, you can take the blade out. Use this to get every last drop. Now, of course, I mean, eating's so bad, Corona 15, you know. Eating and drinking, way too much. So, decided to go back on my keto life. So none of the stuff I'm making I can eat. Fun, right? So I'm gonna package it up and do a drive-by and take it to my nieces. When you get it in your pan, for any kind of cake that you bake, you want to bang it on your counter because you'll see all the little bubbles pop up, and that gives you a better texture to your bread. So that's it for now. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to pause the video, and then when I pull it out, you can see the final product. And then you're going to want to go run by everything. But the bananas, see, you got to have bananas. So what I suggest is everybody get 3 bananas, let them ripen, then wrap them up, put them in the freezer. So that last minute banana bread you might want to make, you got your bananas all in the freezer ready to go. So anyway, I will see you guys in a little bit. So you guys, here's the finished product. And it just flipped right out of the pan. Look at that texture. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show you the inside. See, it's a dark brown cake because it cooks so long and slow. Look at that. So a little warm banana bread, maybe a little smear of cream cheese. Delish.